Tales from Earthsea, Studio Ghibli film and adaptation of Ursula Le Guin books, which I haven't read. Apparently, though, there are multiple books in the series, and the film tries to take elements from a few of them and merge them into a single story. Now, doing that is always worrisome, and I fear that in this case, it didn't work. For what it's worth, Le Guin seemed to also be disappointed with the adaptation. So the film focuses on the character of Aren. He's a prince that at the beginning of the film murders his father, steals his magical sword, and goes on the run. When running from the wolves in the middle of the desert, he is saved by Haitaka, an old man who turns out to be a wizard. And not just any wizard, a powerful archmage. He's traversing the world trying to find the cause of recent troubles. There's pestilence in the country, the crops are failing, the livestock gets sick, and there's something wrong with the magic, and there also have been sightings of dragons fighting one another. Haitaka believes that all of this is a sign that something called balance, which is the movie's, let's say, equivalent of the Force from Star Wars, has been disturbed. So Aren joins the wizard, and together they set off on this journey through the world that seems to be slowly dying, and they are both trying to learn more about what's going on and perhaps stop it. Now, in and of itself, this is a fantastic setup, I think. I've always been drawn to this idea of fantasy worlds that are not thriving, but rather dying. There is something romantic and nostalgic about a whole world in the autumn of its existence. And Tales of Earthsea begins with exactly that atmosphere, built by great visuals and terrific music. But I'm afraid the story doesn't measure up. The further we go, the more unfocused it is. It seems to be introducing a lot of different lore elements and plot devices and background stuff, only to go nowhere with them. Even the main plot is barely comprehensible. I felt that when the movie ended, I knew a little more about it than at the beginning. I guess that the themes are somewhat related to the aforementioned balance and the idea that the world needs both good and evil, both light and shadow. But again, those themes I think are too thin, too underdeveloped to make any sort of lasting impact on the audience. So Tales from Earthsea ends up being an interesting and certainly ambitious project that fails to live up to its ambitions.